Hello everyone, I'm Lee, I'm an intuitive, and every month I take the pulse on what might be showing up for us in our collective this coming month. For January 2022, a few of the themes are going within and reflecting in order to really create and manifest from February onwards. The power of light, how it is infusing the earth now, and how that plays out on a very human level and what that looks like, what to look out for. And last but not least, bumps and surprises in January, which are leading us to greater healing. These and several other themes I will go into in depth. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, welcome to the energy update for January 2022, the beginning of a whole new year and energy cycle on Earth. So firstly, if you've been with me for a while, thank you for the connection that we shared in 2021. And one of the first themes I wanted to share with you is that while I was channeling and bringing through the messages for this whole year on December 21st last year, a major theme that came through was that these are going to be quantum leap years, 2022, 2023, and 2024. So we're at the very beginning of a big cycle on Earth that is going to see the way that the raising consciousness plays out accelerate quite rapidly. So this was a free broadcast that I did on December 21st. It is archived, so you can either find it on my YouTube channel. If you're here on my YouTube channel, it's called Vision Entering 2022, or you can use the link underneath this video, or if you're listening to this on my podcast as an audio, you can find it in the show notes. It's a 90-minute in-depth class and transmission, and I also channel my guides at the end. So I know many of you already experienced Vision, but if you really want to take a deeper look at the year ahead, you can access that for free by following the links underneath the video or in the notes, or finding it on my YouTube channel at Lee Harris Energy. The fact that my guides were talking about this quantum leap that we're about to enter makes January 2022 a very interesting time. However, one of the big themes that came through for this month of January is how, rather than this being a month that you want to launch yourself into new things or start creating new things, see this month as a time to go inward and to experience what they are calling a clear out and clearing energy. So this can look different for all of us, but it can mean you having the clarity or the energy to clear up certain things in your life that feel like they're niggling at you or have been bothering you for a while, and also creating space for what really resonates with you now. One of the big changes that we've been through in the last, especially the last 2 years, is how much we've changed internally. And so as a result, relationships, things that we enjoy doing in the outside world are also changing. So it means that we go through seasonal shifts around the way that we want to engage with activities in our life, or perhaps even habits or pastimes that used to really work for us. They maybe aren't working quite as well anymore. Equally, relationships. There might be some relationships you're finding you're really deepening into now, and perhaps others you're not as resonant either in this moment or perhaps for some time in the future too. So using January as a good month to take a look at what you might want to clear out of your life or clear up. I know that New Year's resolutions tends to be a very cultural theme, so I think that's always in our thinking or our awareness as a culture, at least in January. But the message that came through very strongly was, do not try and hit the ground running this month. Quite the opposite. Unless you have things going on that are flowing and they're already working, take this time to really pull back and let this clearing energy move through your life. And you're creating that too. It's not something that's just happening to you. It's something that you're co-creating. So don't be too surprised if during this month you have a few epiphanies or moments of clarity about what you don't want going forward. And it's often us knowing what we no longer resonate with, what is no longer serving us, what we are no longer serving in the world. We need those revelations in order to create the space to create something new. So I think there is often a gung-ho energy in January, and the message that I was getting from my guides is it's actually a really good time to not be gung-ho about anything and to, as much as you can, sit back, reflect, go inward. Go within is a major theme in January, and that relates to hearing and working with the higher whispers this month. So higher whispers look different for all of us. For some, it's moments of mental clarity. For others, those of us who channel, those of us who talk to our soul regularly, speak to spirit regularly, higher whispers is when we are hearing and experiencing other realms and in connection and communication with other realms. And if you've followed my work for a while, you'll know that consciousness, because it has been rising on the planet as a whole, is beginning to become a little bit more the cultural conversation, or at least part of the cultural conversation. We're beginning to lose that veil between human life and spiritual life. The two are beginning to get closer and closer as time is going on. So you might be very adept at going within and hearing the higher whispers. But this month, if you can cultivate some time or some practices that let you go within and listen as to what's really calling you forward next. What's the next step for you? It's going to be very fruitful because the energy picks up again from February, and that's going to be a time where manifesting, creating in the outside world becomes a little bit more part of the norm. But we have a somewhat reprieve in January, at least on the internal levels, that will allow you to really ask, what do I want next? Where am I going next? What am I surrendering to? So we all look at it differently. Some of you might be in a phase of really wanting to call in, and others you might be in a place where I'm the most surrendered I've ever been. Both are good, but during this month, you will have the opportunity to hear the higher whispers more. So if you're listening to me and thinking, oh, I don't really experience that, journaling is a great way to work with the internal self, work with the internal mind, but also start to access the voice of your soul, the voice of your intuition, sitting down and writing some reflections on how you feel right now or what it is that you would like to experience next in your life. Just getting some flow going through your body with journaling, with reflection, and taking time to look back as well as look forward. January is going to be an incredibly supportive month for that, and most importantly, if you do give some time to that this month, you will be surprised at the results because the energy is very internal in January before it starts to externalize again from February onwards. Manifestation and creation of the new will become easier from February onwards and will in fact kick up a few notches. So for the frustrated among you, or for those of you who feel like things have been a bit stagnant for a while, take January as a way of seeing, well, what can I do to prepare myself to emerge from stagnation or the chrysalis that you've been in? It doesn't mean you have to run out into the streets and create a very big life immediately, but it's a preparation process that you go through to be ready to emerge again. Whenever we go through huge transformations or cocooning periods, we don't tend to just end it on a Sunday and run out into the world on a Monday. We start to gear back towards that other direction. So bear that in mind, that from February onwards, particularly the second week of February onwards, things are going to just slightly increase and accelerate in the external world. So again, going within, clearing out, clearing, and being ready from February onwards to be a little more externalized in your world. These are the energy currents. We're all experiencing them very individually, so it's not always going to be that everybody is in that space, but this is the energy current that's coming through January that you can use if you want to harness it. Bumps and surprises in the month of January. We've seen this on and off as a theme in the last couple of months, but bumps and surprises, the message being each of these are leading to healing. So this can be things that you weren't expecting to happen or things that block you. It can often relate to the external world, and we know that the external world has certainly been surprising, unpredictable, and very different the last couple of years, to use an understatement. But again, where I have been asked to focus through my guides for January is this being a very internalized time. It doesn't mean there won't be bumps and surprises in the outer world, but that actually some of these bumps and surprises you might go through in your personal life, or people around you might go through in their personal life. It's leading to healing. And it's moving us through experiences, happenings, relationship dynamics that are designed to help us heal. So, for example, we often replay relationship dynamics with people. Perhaps we had an argumentative relationship with someone a few years ago, and there was a bit of a wound that we were each playing out in that relationship dynamic. Perhaps we did a lot of healing with that person, and we either do still see that person or we don't, it depends. But in comes a new person who slightly is helping you play out a smaller version of that dynamic. So those are the kinds of healing dynamics that replay through our life. We get lessons that repeat and come back in. So don't be too surprised if you yourself go through any bumps or surprises this month, and ask yourself, if that happens, okay, what am I learning through this? What's the healing in this? Because in the moment we get triggered, we tend to inflame with our emotions, our thoughts, our fight or flight, our activated nervous system. But if you can notice those reactions and you're working with yourself around those reactions, you've started to investigate them a bit more, try and understand them. You have self-care practices, ways to look after yourself while that inflamed reaction is happening. Usually, if we can wait for some time so that that reaction can settle again and soothe, we get to the point of clarity. Rather than being in reaction, we can stand back and go, oh, I see why that just happened again with that friend. I get it. Here I am again in my boundary lesson, and here is another layer of it. So any bumps or surprises this month, try and remember that they are leading to healing. That is what's going on. And a lot of it will be connected to where you're going this year, what you want to create, who you want to become. So there will be some healing that you need to move out before you step forward into the new phase of your life or the new stage that you're now walking into. Because these are really powerful times where healing is concerned. And as we know, healing is not always comfortable or fun or pretty or the kind of thing that you want to celebrate, but it's happening in a big way on Earth now. So bear that in mind for yourself or for others around you that you might be supporting or lending an ear to or helping in some way, that any bumps or surprises they're going through, in many cases, are going to be incredible opportunities to heal some of the held emotions, thoughts, and patterns in the body that can't go where we're going. As we're moving into a higher consciousness as a humanity, we're all being asked to drop sandbags all the time. And January will definitely carry a strong energy of that. Personal and collective health. This will become more of an inquiry and a focus this coming year. So even though I'm speaking to you for January 2022, this was very clearly stated. This is going to be a big focus in 2022 and beyond. So your personal relationship to your health, how do you feel you're looking after your body? And do you feel you're supporting this vehicle that you have to the best of your ability? I know that New Year's resolutions often involve things like going to the gym, eating better, all of those kinds of things for many people anyway. So not too surprising that that comes in, but the message I was given is collective health as it relates to what in our world right now is helping us as a humanity and what in our world right now is causing us to become more unhealthy. So some of our advances, some of our technological advances are going to be called into question as we go through this year, as different aspects of those advances are revealed to not be positive for human health or for life on the planet. So that's not going to be an easy battle, and that's not going to be an easy awakening for anybody, but it's going to be coming more into focus in 2022. So just be mindful of that, and be mindful of your increasing sensitivity, especially if you already identify as being a sensitive or an empath. More of us are going to be more aware of our increasing sensitivity to what we put in on our body or what's around our body. Our bodies are becoming more sensitive, and we're moving into an era where certain technological advances are going to be seen as very good, and certain technological advances are going to be revealed to have certain issues with them for not just the human body, but for life as a whole. And we're coming into a period where that starts to be discussed, disclosed, and perhaps argued and battled about. So just bear that in mind. The reason I think it's coming up for January is, the reason it's coming up for January, I'm being told, is because this is going to be rising to the surface, not just in the collective conversation, but for some of us in our group, it's going to be coming to the fore a bit more. So don't worry too much if you're a little alarmed by some of the changes that you're going through. But as with anything to do with your health, do all the investigations you can to look after your health, support your health, find the right people to help you with it. So for some of you, that sensitivity is already on the rise, and we're entering into a period where that becomes a bigger part of the cultural conversation, personal and collective health. Lastly for today, the power of light is one of the themes that came through on December the 21st. And when I was channeling my guides, the Z's, they explained that this power of light is going to be a tricky dance on Earth during these quantum leap years, 22 to 2024. So how this can look, I'll talk about it on the personal and the collective levels. On the personal level, it could be that you have a really intense moment with yourself, with someone or something in your life that feels very dark or limiting or triggering for you, but it's very swiftly followed by a rebalancing of light. So something that feels very difficult or very bleak or very tricky or very painful gets healed and supported in a far faster way than it would have been several years ago. Equally, in the collective, we will see the same thing. And it's interesting because when they gave me this theme, I've already been tracking this. Something will happen out there in the wider world or within our systems that looks incredibly archaic, rigid, dark, controlling. And then not too long after, there will be something else that will come in to either undo it, challenge it, delay it, interfere with it. This is the dance that we're going to be in for the next 3 years. So the power of light flooding the earth, even though that can sound, I think, very angelic or just as a healing force, what it can actually do is kick up a lot of the heavier, the darker, or the more rigid, dense parts of our world. So we're going to be in this dance for a little while where there is an epiphany and an opening after we see something clamp and get very tight and very controlled. So to recap for this month, do what you can to go within and nurture yourself. And as you will have heard me say over the last months, self-care is not a luxury. It's something that we really need to pay attention to now. And if you're someone who's flirted with it before or just used it as a remedy when you're exhausted, now is not the time to ignore your self-care and the practices that can soothe you. So if you feel like you would like to take a deeper dive on the year to come and have a mini workshop with me, and it's completely free, you can check out the Vision broadcast entering 2022. It includes about 30 minutes of channeling at the end. There are a couple of exercises. And you can find that at the link underneath this video or in the show notes if you're listening on my podcast. And also, starting on January 17th, we are bringing to you my 5th annual Rebirth program. This year, Rebirth 2022 is called the Empowerment Sessions. And it's going to be a whole series of video workshops, audio materials, transcripts, worksheets to give you the opportunity to really deepen with who you are, what you're here for, and lean into your empowerment for 2022 and beyond. It begins January 17th because we always enjoy doing some of the broadcasts live, but you don't have to be there live. So there are many people who have taken Rebirth 2021 even in November and still got so much out of it because the program is designed to guide you through and to an inner transformation. We'll put a trailer at the end of this video if you want to check it out, and you can use the links underneath this video to go and check out Rebirth 2022, or go to my website, leeharrisenergy.com. This month, for my members community, the portal, we have a special treat, which is a brand new audio series called Conversations with the Z's. So I've been channeling my guides for 23 years now. My book, Energy Speaks, is from my guides and the information that they bring through on all of these topics. But Conversations with the Z's is a whole new adventure with the Z's. So my friend, author and psychotherapist Diana Edwards held a series of conversations with them, all focused on the topic they gave us, which is the energetics of the new human soul. They're talking about who we're becoming, how we are becoming it, and also Diana gets them to break down certain principles such as oneness or the difference between soul and spirit, and the conversations were fascinating. So if you're a member of my portal community, where we offer so many different tools and resources and different types of experience every single month, starting this month we have the brand new series Conversations with the Z's. Or you can also pick up a copy of that MP3 in my store if you would like to. We'll put a link to that below. And last but not least, thank you everyone for the wonderful support and enjoyment that we've been hearing from you about the I Am Peace album that we released in December. It's the perfect soundtrack for soothing, to reset your nervous system. The music is all tuned to 528 hertz, which is a healing frequency. So if you haven't yet streamed or downloaded, or even if you want a CD or a vinyl, we have those too for the I Am Peace album. You can find more of that at leeharrismusic.com. As ever, we'll put all links underneath this video, and we hope to see some of you for the Rebirth program, which already is gathering a beautiful tribe of people from around the world. So here is an insight and an excerpt from what you can expect from Rebirth. Until next month, much love, everyone. Hello, I'm Lee Harris. I'm an intuitive and a channeler, and every year in January, I hold a rebirth course, a way for us to look at the year that has gone and let go of what we no longer need, and look ahead at the year to come and see what we might want to create in our life. This year, I'm going to be bringing a lot of channeling to my rebirth program. So I will be channeling my guides several times throughout the course of the 2-week program, and they will be bringing transmissions through, all based on empowerment. When I was tuning in this year as to what the overarching theme for Rebirth 2022 would be, I heard very clearly from them the empowerment sessions. So that is what they will be bringing in the channeled messages, and I and my team will be supporting those messages with a series of video and audio presentations, all designed to help you reconfigure who you want to be for the year ahead. Stephen Washington will be teaching Qigong and wellness practices. I will also be doing a whole session on manifestation and creation and our habits and our patterns and how we can elevate and change those in order to bring in the new. And my team members, Marty and Wendy, will be adding some support videos, as well as an MP3 recording that you get as soon as you sign up called Your Garden of Higher Consciousness. Rebirth is always our biggest course of the year, and so we have a very large community from all over the world who tune in and, most importantly, weigh in. So we have a community forum that's completely private, and it's where you and other members can share your experiences, not only of the material, but of what's going on in your life right now and what you're looking to cultivate. So the group energy that forms around Rebirth is very strong. And we also have transcripts and worksheets. And once you are in Rebirth, you will have lifetime access to all of the materials. So even though we run most of these sessions live as live broadcasts, you don't have to be able to be there live. And if you do miss a live broadcast, you will get the replay on video and in transcript form and audio within 2 days of the broadcast. We begin on January 17th, so if it resonates with you to join us for Rebirth 2022, the empowerment sessions, I, my guides, and my team would love to welcome you.